What's up, guys? It is tax season once again, my friends, and I'm here to tell you JD and Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services is here to help you this tax season. Don't wait till November 1st. November 1st, you're already too late, my friend. You ain't gonna get your taxes done. So let me tell you how JD and Associates and LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services can help you. JD and Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services are located at 4702 West Avenue, number 8, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78213. You can call them at 210-816-0357. Make sure you call them now. JD and Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services are here to help you this tax season. Don't go with your vecina who doesn't remember her name, who doesn't even know how to write. She's not going to do your taxes correctly. JD and Associates LLC is here to help you. An official sponsor for DeLoco Podcast, JD and Associates LLC. Guys, it's 2025 and you want to start off with Mas. More energy, more flavor. Guys, you want to head on over to drinkmasenergy.com and use the code word DELLOCO10 and get 10% off your order. Now, the flavors that they have right now, we got right here in my hand, we got hibiscus, we got tamarindo back there, and we got mango. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this. 10% off an order on Mas. More energy, more flavor is here to stay and help you in 2025. Mas, an official sponsor for DeLoco Podcast.
DeLoco Podcast.
DeLoco. Estás escuchando DeLoco Podcast.
All right, well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to DeLoco Podcast and Happy New Year. It is 2025. 2024 has already ended. Happy holidays to everybody. Today we have a special guest today. It's going to be pretty rapid. She's speaking at a special event, so we were able to get her in a timely manner. So, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode number 73. If you guys want to head on over to YouTube, please subscribe to DeLoco Podcast. Hit the little campanita. Make sure you guys do subscribe. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, as well as Spotify. You guys want to do that. So today we have someone here today, and it is Vanessa Joy. Another note of Vanessa Joy. I know a lot of you that may be listening or watching in the chat room may be wondering who is Vanessa Joy. So today you're going to find out who Vanessa Joy is in a timely manner. But before that, how was your holidays? Was your holidays great? How did you spend it?
You know, it was good. And I took off between Christmas and New Year's. And then you come back and you receive your punishment for daring to do such a thing.
Yeah. And you were in Kenya, correct?
I was in Kenya right before that, flew to New York, did a talk there, did a shoot there, went back to Austin. I'm from Austin.
Yes.
And then flew back to Jersey again.
Oh, wow.
To spend time with some family there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I mean, I spent it with some family. I spent it with my beautiful wife, Denisse, my beautiful daughter, Camila. Spent it with my brothers, my mom and dad, my wife's side of the family. Just enjoyed the holidays with family and friends. And, I mean, we're in 2025. I can't believe it. We're already.
Oh, I know. And like rolling right into it.
Right.
It's the 7th and I'm already out of town.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we're already in 2025. To even think, like somebody had posted the other day, to even think about 15 years ago, 2025, you were like, nah, that's a long shot. Like we ain't never going to get there.
Oh, yeah.
And now to look back, you're like, man, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And, you know, 2000, a.k.a. Y2K.
Y2K.
If you know.
Yes.
That's just as far away as 2050.
Yes, 2050.
Yeah. That's not okay.
No, it's not okay. It really isn't okay. So, So the way most of you are wondering, Vanessa Joy, she's a photographer. She's very well known all over YouTube, all over the nation, if you want to say. And I got to meet Ms. Vanessa Joy the last time in Austin, Texas. I went over there for a little photography thing that was going on, and she was there. And we met. We talked for a little bit. I invited her over to the podcast, and she said, yeah, more power to you. I'll go over there and see what's going on. And I know you didn't know for sure when you were going to be in San Antonio, but you said, I'm going to be in San Antonio. It's just I don't know when. And then finally you reached out. You're like, hey, I'll be in San Antonio pretty soon. What do you think? I was, let's do it.
I kept my word.
Yeah,
I tried. My memory isn't all there all the time. So I'm actually really proud of myself.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, Vanessa, I know for some of those people that are listening in and watching for the very first time, there's going to be many that are watching that know who you are already, but who is Vanessa Joy?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But, as the years go by, aren't we just trying to figure that out every single year?
Every single year.
Every year. So far, wife, mom, and I got a dog. In the past 6 months. So that's been fun. But I'm a photographer. And then that's evolved. Because then you're a content creator. And then that means I do video.
Yes.
I started a podcast last week, actually. Did I tell you
I saw that little clip that you posted. I saw that.
Little hinty. I did a thing. And, I'm starting a mastermind now. So my whole who I am has just evolved. But I suppose I'm still just a lost little child of God.
Lost little child of God, yeah. So, I mean, I know that you're into photography. And correct me if I'm wrong. Your husband is a videographer.
Yes.
Correct?
That's how we met.
That's how you met.
In a bride's bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. I walked in. I had my fan, smoke, everything. Slow motion.
There you go.
At 2:40. Walked in. No, Rob and I, we were both working for other companies at the time, and he was the video guy, I was the photo girl, and we worked together for like 5 years. We were both serial daters.
Yeah,
like we were just always in long-term relationships, and we were just friends forever.
Oh wow,
that liked each other a lot.
Man, so who made the first move then? Your husband?
Oh,
he
did.
You?
He did. Yeah, he licked guacamole off my arm one day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
So he was.
I mean, I spilled it.
Oh, you spilled it. You spilled it. I was already gonna ask, what do you do guacamole? Aguacate there on your arm. What are you doing with that there?
That's what I do. Just trying to find a husband. Just you got to put guacamole on your arm if you.
How long ago did you meet your husband?
About 20 years.
20 years.
About 20 years ago. We've been married for 15 years as of a couple weeks ago. And I always say every year, I'm like, I don't know how we are still married. Like, by the grace of God, can we stand each other every day?
Yeah. I mean,
we're both type A's. We're both like alphas. We're both like, we butt heads constantly. We have very different personalities. Like, he's emotional. I'm not. He calls me an ice queen. I tell him he's overreactive. Yeah. It was just total opposites. But I think lately, because it's always something different. You're married. You know this.
Yes,
like,
yes.
People always say, oh, like, how do you stay together? I'm like, ask me yesterday. Ask me today. Like, because it's always something different that's going to get you to the next day. Mm-hmm. And lately, we've just been really bonding over the fact that our children show us the worst of us, and we realize now it is all our fault.
I mean, sometimes that's what it comes down to, right? But then we're the adults, and we're like, no, it's you. No, it's not me.
I know.
It's you. It's not me. So I have a couple of questions. I know we're asking to see who you are, and for everybody out there, I think we're trying to figure that out, right? We're trying to figure out who we are, indeed. But as a photographer, what's been like the biggest challenge that you've faced? Whether it be a wedding, whether it be a small little session, what's like the biggest?
Photographically speaking? Oh, man. Yeah, actually, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I mean, a pretty big challenge, at least that's what comes to mind. But I was going to a rehearsal dinner. It was in New Jersey. And I had my kids with me, so I was not 100% in my brain.
Yeah.
Packed my camera, packed my lens, did not pack my flash.
Oof.
And I realized it the second I started walking in, because it was sunset, and I'm like, oh no. And flash. I am nowhere near. My flash is like 2 hours away. So my husband, who was taking care of the kids, I'm like, you got to go get my flash. He's like, dude, that's going to be 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. Like, what are you going to do? I have my R5 too. No, I had the R1, the Canon R1. And I'm like, well, the low light's awesome, but like, it's going to be really...
It's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. He goes to Walgreens. I'm like, get me a flashlight. I don't care. He got me a flashlight that big, like little handheld flashlight.
Yeah.
Man, it saved the day.
Did it?
Looked awesome.
Oh, wow.
Every time I went to shoot, I'm just holding the flashlight.
They
can't tell it's a flashlight. No, I'm going to put my logo on that and start selling that $3 flashlight. Like, it's the best thing since, what was that? That gun light back in the day.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Doug Gordon. No, who else? Oh.
Precedent.
Yeah. That one. But mine will cost $3.
Oh, it costs $3. Perfect. So I know you said that's been the biggest challenge you face. What's been the worst session or gig that you've ever gotten to where you showed up, you're like, man, I can't believe I took this?
You know, I haven't had that. It usually, honestly, and all my friends that hear this are going to be like, but Vanessa, you said you would. I hate photographing my friends' kids and families.
Really?
I just don't like photographing families. I don't even like photographing my own family. Like photographing Felicity and Judith stresses me out. I know you see them on my YouTube and stuff, but it stresses me out. And it stresses me out to photograph kids in general. I will do it for my friends all day, but every time I'm like, why?
Yeah, why?
But then when I get there, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not as bad as I make it out to be in my head.
So you haven't had that moment yet to where you're like, man, this is horrendous. I don't even want to do this gig right now.
Not really, because I always find something photographically that I get enamored by. Mm-hmm. The only thing that really kills me when it comes to jobs is if I've let the client down in any way, shape, or form. Like I personally, because I actually care. I care about my clients more than I care about my reputation or a bad review. Yeah. If I let them down, like just break my heart, I can't sleep at night. Yeah.
Man. Okay. I mean, that's good to know. I mean, at least you're being honest.
Yeah.
Being very honest.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you for that. If you can go back in time to your first photography session, what advice would you give yourself?
I think to be more confident. You know, I found the very first photo that I got paid for the other day.
Really?
Yes. I posted on my stories. I was not brave enough to post it like permanently. But it was a photo session, a headshot session. And I was so nervous. I charged $50 and it was my mom's friend, just to be super clear.
Yeah.
I was like, realtor, I will photograph and you could look at the back of my camera, my little like Canon 10D. It was like that big, like the back of the screen, you know? And I'm like, I will photograph until we get one that you really like. And I took the first one and she looked at it. She's like, oh, I love it. I'm like, okay, let's take some more. Half an hour later, you know what photo she picked? The first one.
The first one.
I could have been done.
Yeah.
And I could have been made $50 per minute instead of $50 an hour.
An hour. Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Just a little more
how old, just out of curiosity, how old were you at the time?
15.
15.
Yeah.
So you've been at it since you were 15.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you how old you are right now.
I'm 41. It's okay.
Okay.
It's the most Googled thing about me.
Really?
Yeah, because, you know, when Google sends you like your stats and whatever, it's Vanessa Joy photography, Vanessa Joy age.
Wow.
Whatever.
So how long have you been on YouTube, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, my own channel is about 5.5 years old. I started in 2019, but I had been doing YouTube videos for Adorama well before then. I think like a good 4 years before then.
Really?
So it's been about a decade that I have been creating YouTube videos.
Yeah,
that's
kudos
crazy
to you.
think.
Yeah, no, it is crazy.
Yeah.
To think that a decade.
Wow.
Man.
Whose idea was this?
I don't want to. I don't want to say like.
I mean,
make
thank
you feel...
God, but well, you know, here's the thing. So I had a great gig with Adorama.
Okay.
Love Adorama still. Good relationship. Expanded my relationship now with B&H, and it's kind of a rivalry thing.
Yeah.
But I had a nice gig, and they paid pretty well. And a friend of mine, Miguel Quiles, he said, you know, you really need to start doing it for yourself because you never know when that's going to go away. And you know what? It did go away like real quick within 2 weeks. Oof. And I was like super hurt by it for sure when it happened. But I had already established my own YouTube channel, I think 2.5 years in by that point.
Oh,
so
wow.
It really did save me.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, Miguel.
Yeah. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you for that. So the last question that I have here to find out a little bit more about you, and then right now we're going to go into a little segment that we're going to bring back this year. If photography never worked out for you, what would you be doing now?
I would still be a Spanish teacher.
Spanish teacher?
Yes.
Spanish teacher. Uh-huh. So for those that are listening in the chat, that are watching and listening, when I met Vanessa Joy the very first time, she was very intrigued at my shirt that I was wearing. So I was wearing my DeLoco Podcast shirt. Mm-hmm. It says, God loves you, Dios Te Ama. Mm-hmm. And she said, where did you get that shirt from? And I said, oh, it's from my podcast. And she goes, wow. She goes, you know, I speak Spanish. And I said, do you? And at that moment, you spoke to me in Spanish. And I was like, blown away that you spoke in Spanish.
Oh, I have quite the accent these days.
So going into that, if you were going to be a Spanish teacher, who taught you to speak Spanish?
School. I learned it in high school and then took it in college and studied abroad. I did have a Venezuelan boyfriend for 4 years. That always helps. And then I had au pairs that helped me take care of the kids that were all from Colombia.
Oh, wow.
So I just kept learning it and speaking it. And I love languages. I learned Portuguese for fun.
Really?
I can read and write a little bit of French and Italian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're fun. I love languages.
And the thing is, too, it comes in handy with what you do, because now you
100%.
can get to that personal level with the client. And they're like, oh, man, she speaks my language a little bit. Or they can at least feel like, oh, at least she's attempting to make me feel like I'm wanted or like she's about me right now. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, because language barriers are tough.
Yeah, they are.
You know, especially if you're trying to get someone to be comfortable in front of your camera and you can't even speak the same language.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. Perfect. So right now what we're going to do, so I had this segment back a year and a half ago. We took it away. Now we're bringing it back. 2025, brand new year. We're doing everything brand new intro, brand new outro. This is a brand new studio. We've been here for a couple of months. Nice. So we're going to it's called DeLoco Hot Seat.
All right.
So these are going to be rapid fire questions.
How many words do I get to answer?
So we're going to see how many you can
I'll
answer.
be quick. Okay, I'll be fast.
Welcome. Bienvenidos. This is DeLoco Hot Seat.
Esto es DeLoco Hot Seat.
DeLoco Hot Seat.
So DeLoco Hot Seat, rapid fire questions with Vanessa Joy. And I already know what you're going to say. So Canon camera or Sony? Canon. Of course. Let me. Of course, it's got to be Canon. And I only asked that because I saw her. That's all she uses, okay?
Ever since film.
So, and speaking of which, we just talked about this, but this is a rapid fire question. Would you do a gig with the worst camera in the world for $50,000? No digital, all prints.
Are we talking a pinhole camera? Because in my mind, that's the worst camera in the world. And you know what? I could charge $50,000 for that because that is an art to even make from scratch. So yes, I would.
Yes, you would.
Yes, I would.
And for those that are listening in, you're like digital or print. There's digital. You can upload them digitally, send a link, whatnot. People can just download them to their phone directly. Or the old school is print them out. Print them out.
Yes.
Speaking of which, do you still do that?
I make it mandatory that we print albums from weddings.
That's another air horn.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people that are doing that.
No, it's mandatory.
Mandatory. I like that you still do I saw your story. What was it? Maybe the last wedding that you did. It probably wasn't the last wedding that you did, but you posted a reel and it was one of those photo albums that you put.
Same day?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Almost every wedding for the past 16 years.
That's super cool. And I think that makes the bride and the groom like super excited. Like, oh man, she's wow, this is amazing. Her work this says it right here. This puts the period like at the very end of Vanessa Joy. Like, that's it.
Yep. I love it.
I like that. That's awesome. Okay. So you would do the gig.
I would do it.
Okay.
I'd set expectations.
Set expectations. Okay, perfect. Now, we are in the year of 2025, and those that are listening in, it's a year that somebody gets out of prison. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
Who gets out of prison?
So Miss Yolanda gets out of prison. Selena Quintanilla's killer.
Oh, my goodness. Does she really?
She does get out this year.
Huh.
What do you think? I mean, we can do all kinds of conspiracies that we want to do. I know everyone's going to do conspiracies. Do you really believe that Selena's dad had something to do with Selena's death?
Oh, man. I don't know enough to even say that. I watched the movie multiple times. I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
So let me ask you this.
Money makes people do weird things.
There's that as well.
And power.
Yes, there's that as well. Now let me ask you a question. Do you know of a Selena Quintanilla song?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
of course.
Perfect. So there's a rumor going around right now that there's a Facebook group of like 15,000 people that have made a page that are going to show up the day Yolanda gets out of prison.
Whoa.
Yeah.
To do what?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
There's some people that, I get it, right? Selena was an icon
of
for
course.
Texas. Corpus Christi. Tejano singer. She was blowing up. She's still big and she's not even here. Imagine if she was here.
Yep.
So I do get it for some people that they take it to heart that, hey, man, she's not here because of you. And I get that. It's been quite some time, but.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is intense. So those Facebook pages, let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that.
No angry mobs in 2025 yet, please.
Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do that. So, of course, that you guys were hearing that Miss Vanessa moved to Texas. She's here in Austin, Texas. So, we're going to find out right now whose side she's on right now.
Oh, no.
Tacos from San Antonio or Austin?
I've never had them from San Antonio. I've
No?
only had them in Austin.
Oof.
We should have had tacos
I
here.
know.
Then
I should have brought some.
you.
I should have told my brother. Should have told him, hey, you should bring some tacos because I don't think Vanessa Joy's had.
What is the difference? Are we talking breakfast tacos?
Well, see, here in San Antonio, breakfast tacos are pretty huge.
Well, Austin, too.
They're pretty big. Well, Austin is big. San Antonio's big. Not so much in Dallas and not so much in Houston. I think it's
just us two.
Just us two right now that they're big on the tacos. Now, the biggest question that I have for you is, I know you said you've eaten tacos.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your favorite taco? Like if you're like on the run and you're like, man, you know what? I want to get a taco today.
Like
What'd you
ever. I mean, breakfast tacos for sure, but
Okay.
I like egg, chorizo, avocado, and cheese.
Avocado and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kind of a bean and cheese type of gal?
Not really.
No?
I want more things. I need more protein than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm like a green hot sauce kind of girl.
Okay, there you
Mm-hmm.
go. There you go. So you like the chorizo and egg, maybe a little bit of Texas special sausage and egg,
Yeah.
a little bit with salsita on there, a little green
Yep.
salsa. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. That's good. That's perfect. That works out.
Now I'm hungry.
That-
Thanks.
Right? You're about to go speak right now.
I'm
You're
about to go speak. I'm not going to have time
You're
to
about to
eat.
go speak.
They're all going to hear my stomach.
So speaking of which, I know right now you already mentioned it here, but this is a very quick one here. Is AI a good thing or a bad thing for photographers right now? Because there's a lot
Okay.
of photography, if you want to say AI programs that are there that are being able to edit everything. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
So last night, I cloned myself.
Here we go.
Used captions.
Really?
And I cloned myself and watched a video of me play back of things I've never said, and it looked like I was saying them.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I think right now in the photo world, it is definitely a tool. It's an asset. I think it's hurting, obviously, retouchers, editors. It's hurting headshot artists first. I think wedding photographers, family photographers are somewhat safe.
Yeah.
As far as AI overall, man, I grew up in the 80s. Terminator was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, we know what's going to
We already
happen.
know what's going to happen already.
And all y'all, like, I saw this AI thing with, like, guns and, you know, you're controlling it. And I'm like, dude, you're Skynet, people.
Yeah, Skynet. Exactly, Skynet. People are not, they don't get it. They don't
No.
click, they don't click to it.
What is the saying? Sci-fi fantasy is always precursor to sci-fi reality.
Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we got some other questions here. So everyone is a photographer now with these iPhones and excluding real photography. What do you think about that? Is that true or not true?
It's true to an extent. Like, it takes the middle ground and kind of separates it. So the people who were never going to hire a photographer were never going to hire a photographer. And now they have a way to preserve their memories. I think that's a good thing. The people who may have hired a photographer, those are the ones that now may or may not because of that. But then you've got, I think, the bulk of people who are like, you know what, I need a photographer for this. I'm going to hire a photographer because you could have great tech. And yes, the iPhone is good tech. It's easy. But I see some pretty crappy photos coming out of iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have a special occasion, a moment, you want to hang something, you're probably going to hire a photographer in the circumstances where you would have hired one before iPhones.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Because there are moments that I know some people are like, well, we can save a buck.
Of
We can
course.
save a penny.
Of
We'll just
course.
shoot it with the iPhone 16.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got a good camera, but if you put in comparison to a photographer's cameras,
Especially when you print.
exactly. When
But
you print
those
them out.
people would have before not have hired a photographer anyway. They would have said, we could just get some disposable cameras.
Yeah, disposable cameras.
Right?
Now
That's
there-
what I think.
Here's the funny thing. It's funny that you're mentioning about disposables because that day when I went to that little session that you had, I know you had the biggest. I don't want to say like you like right away went at the guy, but he was like, "What about this photo?" And he had like the biggest flash photography, black and white. And you're like, "Don't do that. I hate that." Don't do that.
I would never be that mean.
And I was like,
my middle name is Joy.
She doesn't like that. And I remember you had this big old screen in the back and you were showing, you're like, look, it's funny you show me that. And then you swiped over and you show like, that's what people are liking right now.
It is.
So how do you feel? I know you don't like it. And I don't know if you have friends that are doing that. And has there ever been a request for you to do that?
Oh, there's requests all the time. I mean, we're talking direct flash, grainy, black and white. My wedding just the other day, she goes, "Hey, can you shoot film like during the reception?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean when you say film?"
Yeah, film.
I'm like, "Because normally you don't shoot that during the reception."
No.
She's like, "Oh yeah, like the black and white old school look." Okay, so black and white, I'm going to slap some green on it. Got you. Like we can do that all day. I could care less because you know what happens? If I put on my flash, you know what I don't have to do? Go set up lights.
Yeah.
All for it.
Yeah.
And that's going to make you happy. I'm here to make you happy. You know, when I was really only doing wedding photography, I probably would have said something different. But in the past 5-10 years, I've started shooting more corporate and brands and small businesses. And my job is not to have them hire me for me because my work is not going to match their brand.
Yeah.
My job is to take photos that match their brand, their vision. My style has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So now I look at it as a challenge, and I've started treating all of my wedding couples the same way, where I'm like, okay, what do you want? Because quite frankly, I can do anything.
Yeah, you can do anything.
And now I'm bored and I like the challenge. Like, give it to me.
So you're for it. I mean, you're just here to make the client happy.
That's what I'm here for.
At the end of the day.
It's not about me.
Yeah.
I'm not a purist. I'm not having a gallery.
And to be honest, I mean, I like that look a little bit. Now, I don't know if it's just because I like the look. I think it's just a nostalgia. It takes me back to somewhere. I think that's all it is.
It's nostalgia, for sure.
That's all it is. I mean, I have family photos where, I mean, you know, you get a rando like, hey, click this real quick and big old flash and it looks real grainy.
It's blurry.
But
you love it.
And right now, that's what's hot right now.
It is.
The blurry, the grainy, the high flash, the vintage look. And I get it. And there's a guy, man, I forgot his name. And man, I should have wrote it down. There's a guy that I follow and that's all he does.
That's all that comes out?
He's a photographer, like professional photographer, and that's what he does. He does like street photography, weddings, whatever, and he makes them look like old.
I like it.
And I mean, it looks good, but the thing is, you can tell the difference between if somebody's trying to edit like a picture from this phone rather than editing a photo from an actual camera.
Oh, of course.
From an actual camera.
We can tell anyway.
Yeah, we can tell anyway. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so the other question that I have, and I memorized this to the back of my teeth, because I know right now we did the rapid. You pick Canon all day long.
All day.
So, is there something in particular that you like more about Canon rather than any other brand?
I mean, it's definitely familiar, but throughout years of, I've tried. It's not like I've never touched any other
that's what
camera.
I was going to ask. Yeah,
and I have, but the Canon colors are great, but you could of course adapt whatever you want in post. To me, it's always been the glass. I really love the lenses, and the lenses you can't get anywhere else. I mean, Sony just came out with the 28-70 f2, but that was 3 years later after Canon came out with theirs, and that is my main camera. I love a camera lens. I love that lens. It's on my camera 80-90% of the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's so versatile. It's heavy.
It's heavy. I mean, I can imagine that it's heavy. Yeah, I can imagine that it's heavy. So then that's going to be your go-to with like any event, any gig that you do. Canon's going to be that's your go-to.
That is.
Okay.
Yep.
Not a problem.
Got my whole lineup.
Okay, perfect. So I know you got into it a little bit, but now with technology growing, AI improving, do you think photography will be the thing of the past? Videography, graphic designing, do you think all those things will become extinct?
No. If anything, they've become more prevalent. They've become more everywhere now, digitally as well as in print. I mean, we have the digital advertising, but at no point did print advertising. Yes, magazines, but I'm talking like billboards, pictures on the wall. Like none of that really went away. Magazines, yes, but that's a different story. The visual medium is only advancing, but it is adapting. It is changing, especially graphic design and video, and bringing AI into it and finding ways that we can raise the bar, finding ways that we can cut corners, but in a good way, so that we're not wasting time on the minutia, and we can push our creativity even further. Yeah, it's not a problem. And I know, like, even right now, because I mean, I like taking photography on the side. I mean, I'm not a professional, but I've known my fair share. I have some friends. I mean, you know, my friend Michael, shout out to Michael. I have some other friends, Mandito, we call him Mandito. That's what he does full time. And I've gotten some feedback from many people like, hey, what can I do to do this, to do that? So I think you nailed it right on the coffin. And I think a lot of people, though, are scared because the way AI is going. I mean, you just said it right now. You made a video and you didn't even say anything. You just put it in captions and it created it for you. Yeah. I mean, we should be scared, just for the record. We should be scared of AI. No. We should be cautious. But that is also very natural with any forward movement in not just technology, but in life, in culture. You should proceed with caution. Yeah, proceed with caution. Yes, exactly. So I know right now you're here in San Antonio. We're going to have to kind of wind it down just a little bit. Because I was like, I have no idea what time it is. You're about you're about to head out. So you're here speaking, and what are you doing today here in San Antonio? I am teaching about social media. So I always say I like photography, but I love business. I love social media. Well, love-hate relationship with social media, but I love marketing. Yeah. So I'm teaching about marketing. If anybody listening here wants some freebie marketing stuff, you can go to my Instagram, and this is a dual piece of advice, so pay attention. There you go. All right, you're going to go to my Instagram and you're going to DM me, message me the words InstaTips, INSTA, second word TIPS, InstaTips. I'm sure it's in the show notes, but at Vanessa Joy, that's where you find me. But it's a whole bunch of Instagram tips that are like super helpful, applicable. It's not fluffy. You could do it right now. But the thing that's going to automatically message you, I will tell you what that is as well. It is the best thing. So I'm teaching all that right now at ELIA, which is an events association. Okay. And it's what I usually teach when I'm not talking to only photographers. I'm talking about marketing, because marketing, I always say it's like math. It's the same in every language, right? I had a friend of mine recently. I had mentored her in photography, and I'm starting a mastermind all on business this year. It's what I want to concentrate on teaching. And she, since, is not a photographer anymore, but she's like, you taught me such good business basics that now she owns a yoga studio now. She's like, I'm able to use everything that you taught me in my new business. And I'm like, that's what I want to hear. There you go. That's legacy changing right there. That's awesome that you're able to do that, and you're doing that right now. And I know right now you said you wanted to I know you want to talk, you want to do all that stuff, but what ventures do you want to take in 2025? I mean, the mastermind thing is really all-encompassing for me because I enjoy that the most. All the teaching I do, all the talking, like I love when people are like, oh, you help me pose, you help me light, I learned Flash, wonderful. You tell me I help you like feed and clothe your kids, that's another level. Yeah. I want that. So I've started realizing that a little bit more, and now I'm focusing more of my attention there. More of your attention there. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, I know, I don't know if you know or whatnot, but I did see that you had like one of my posts speaking on faith. So I don't know if you're a faith believer. I am. Which is awesome. Yeah. But I think right now in this time, we're going to take a little bit of time here before you go. I like to encourage everyone to actually seek Christ right now. The times that we're living in right now is just, they're biblically. We're living in the end times. The Lord is literally saying it louder than anything else, and I think still there are some people that have deaf ears, right? Deaf ears still, and they don't want to believe blind in those things. Deaf ears. What are your thoughts, very quickly, on everything that's going on right now in the world, and how faith can really help you through these times, and then also to how people should actually be encouraged to seek after Christ? You know, I think a lot of people look at faith spirituality, Christianity, and they look at it in a way where it's like, I don't agree with that rule. I don't agree with that book. I'm not going to go look at that. And then your entire framing of any of it, and it could really be applied to any religion, but you are like almost like sin management.
Yeah.
But Jesus never called us to sin management.
No.
He called us to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are curious, the really only step that you even want to take is just to find out who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to ignore who the church is to find out who he is.
To find out who he is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, I mean, you nailed it perfectly. And thank you so much for giving your feedback on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people right now in the time that we're living in, they really need to come to Christ before it's too late.
Yes.
Just being very honest. So thank you, Vanessa. I know I don't want to keep you too much longer. I gotta go. You gotta go talk to I don't know how many people, but thank you guys for tuning into this episode. We had Vanessa Joy here. Thank you again for being here. Guys, this is just a friendly reminder. We're here to encourage you is to seek after Christ. Find out who he is. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy road because it is not, but accepting him into your heart wholeheartedly, the Lord says in his word that you shall be saved. And I'm telling you right now, it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So this is just a friendly reminder that God loves you. Dios Te Ama. Vanessa, you already know. Dios Te Ama, you already know.
That's
he
right.
loves you very much.
Dios Te Ama.
And we will see you on episode number 74. And congratulations, Vanessa, on everything and your accomplishments that you have done.
Thanks.
And prayers for you in 2025 that the Lord takes you higher, greater, and takes you further than what you've ever imagined.
Back at you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
DeLoco Podcast.
But I couldn't have anybody see my face, Steven. Come on.